RuneScape has a ton of auras to choose from, and with how expensive they are in loyalty points, you better not make a mistake when you pick one. So in this video we'll be covering the very best skilling aura in the game. So there are a ton of auras in the game, and plenty of skilling auras to choose from. But today, in this video, we are focusing on one in particular and comparing it why it is by far the best one to pick up. I'm talking of course about the Jack of Trades aura. For those of you who aren't aware, the Jack of Trades aura is an aura that has 4 tiers that you can progressively upgrade. You must first purchase the first tier of the aura before you can then upgrade it to the following tiers. The way that this aura works is that when you activate it, you have 3 hours to gain XP in a certain number of skills. You will then be able to claim an XP reward, and that XP reward will be bigger the more skills you were able to gain XP in, with a maximum amount of different skills ranging from 10 to 25 depending on which tier of the aura that you have. Once you have gained XP in as many skills as you want, you can deactivate the aura and talk to one of the aura sales NPC in either Varrock or Privdinas to gain your XP reward. This aura can only be done once per day, but it can be reset using Viswax and the Premier artifact for up to 3 different uses every single day. So before we get further into detail of the Jack of Trades aura itself, let me show you why none of the other skilling auras can challenge it. All the other skilling auras can only be used for one specific skill, making them much less versatile. And those auras essentially cost the same amount of loyalty points to obtain and upgrade. But just for argument's sake, let's take a look at the best case scenario for any of these auras. The best of these skilling auras essentially give you a 15% boost in efficiency for that skill. So if you were to take this aura and use it all the way to 200 million XP, that aura would essentially be worth 30 million XP. That sounds pretty great when you put it like that, but you have to realize that the actual number will be vastly lower than this in reality. Because by the time that you have earned enough loyalty points to obtain the highest tier auras, you will likely already have gained a ton of experience without having used the aura as a boost. On top of that, these auras also have cooldowns, so you very likely won't be using the aura at all times while you're going for 200 million XP in a skill. And that's not even talking about the fact that some of these auras actually are less than 50% XP boost in practice, and some of them only work on specific skilling methods within the skill. For example, the runecrafting aura only applies for runespan runecrafting. But truly, in my opinion, the biggest reason that Jack of Trades outshines all of these skills is the fact that unlike any of the other skilling auras, you can choose whichever skill you gain XP in. Other skilling auras completely lose their value as soon as you get to your goal level, or XP, whether it be 99 or 200 mil. As soon as you reach it, you will never use the aura again. But as soon as you hit your goal with the Jack of Trades aura, you can just move on to the next skill. And no skill is off the table. You can use this for any skill you dislike or that takes a long time for you. For simplicity's sake, all the numbers you will see in the rest of this video assume that the skill is at level 99. Just know that if you're using your Jack of Trades on a skill lower than level 99, the XP numbers will be scaling down relatively with it. So, for a full completion of Jack of Trades, you will gain 14,500 experience for the lowest tier, then 19,500 for the next tier, 24,200 for the third tier, and for the final tier, you will get 29,000 XP. So if you do your Jack of Trades consistently and reset it every time you can, then you will be able to expect up to 2.7 million experience per month in any skill of your choosing, or up to 31.8 million experience every single year. That is so much experience, and a big reason why I've been able to get 120 agility on my Ironman account. If you are curious, the XP rates are actually also pretty good for the time invested. This method ends up being well over 2 million experience per hour, which beats out most of the XP rates for most skills. I do want to point out that I actually don't use the highest tier of this aura. Instead, I use the Master Jack of Trades aura, which is the second best tier available. There are a few reasons why I decided not to pick the highest tier, those being that the last upgrade costs by far the most loyalty points, and I personally wanted to use the loyalty points on other things. On top of this, to get the most out of this aura, you'll want to do as many skills as possible. And so when you upgrade Jack of Trades from tier 3 to tier 4, you will now have to gain XP in 25 skills instead of 20, making the daily much longer and much more annoying to do. On top of this, the XP increase is pretty linear through these tiers, so making this daily that I do every single day quite a bit more annoying for just a marginal increase in XP is not worth it for me personally. But it is a personal choice that you will have to make, and even if you have the legendary aura, you will still be able to do the method that I do to gain the same amount of experience that you would if you were just having the master aura. Finally, before I show you how I do my Jack of Trades run in less than half a minute, I want to show you a fantastic way to pick up some new valuable skills with Brilliant, who were once gracious enough to sponsor this video. Brilliant is a great tool to brush up on some useful math and computer science skills, which are both vital skills that I use on the daily in my job as a game developer. Brilliant will meet you where you're at and teach you all the skills interactively and in a fun way through a simple daily learning habit. If you have any interest at all in getting a tech or game development career, I highly recommend checking out the programming course, which will teach you all the essentials that will get you thinking like a programmer, which will come in handy when solving any problems you will ever come across. If you want to level up your real-life skill set, you can try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for 30 days by visiting brilliant.org/ironarexor, or by clicking the link in the description, which will get you 20% of Brilliant's annual plan. Alright, let's break down my Jack of Trades run step by step. This is the setup that I use. Not everything here is vital. Some of it I just use in other dailies, but I will talk you through everything that you will need to do this exact method. First, we use the Wilderness Sword to teleport to Edgeville. You get this sword from the Wilderness achievements. Once we arrive in Edgeville, we will activate our Jack of Trades aura if we haven't already, and make our way east to the building that houses all the men and women. We right-click one of them and pickpocket them to get experience in the thieving skill, after which we instantly click on them to kill them in one hit, and because our melee XP is going shared into all of these skills will instantly be knocked out as well. On top of that, I passively have a Bone Crusher, which will also give me Prayer XP. It is on my tool belt, so if you don't have that, make sure to bring it along. Or alternatively, if you don't have the Bone Crusher yet, just pick up the bones and bury them. Next up, every other remaining skill we will get XP in will be done through the inventory. First off, we have this log in the inventory, which we instantly disassemble. This will give us invention XP, and therefore it could be any item that you can disassemble, but the reason that I chose a log is for the viewers that don't have invention unlocked, because you can just light this log and get fire making experience instead. Next up in the inventory, you can see a bunch of unfinished urns for all kinds of different skills, being fishing, cooking, divination, woodcutting, farming, runecrafting, mining, and hunter, along with all the respective runes that you will need to charge these urns. The great things about these urns is that you can spam click them and charge all of these urns instantly, giving you experience in all the respective skills. I then have a herb that I clean, a gem that I cut, and some ascension shards which I fletch. You can of course use any other herblore crafting and fletching materials. I just like these because I have a lot of them, and they all get crafted instantly if you only have one of them in your inventory. Finally, we have 2 more skills to gain experience in, and we will get both of those at once by superheating some gold ore in our inventory. You could bring the runes for this, but I'm not always on a normal spellbook, so it's way easier for me to just use the Explorer's Ring, which gives you a bunch of free casts of the superheat spell every single day. Once I superheat the ore, that's the last experience I need, and I will make my way to the reward area in Privdinus. You could go to Varrock as well, I just prefer Privdinus, and I pick up my reward book. You can then reset the aura once or twice, depending on if you want to, and do the process all over again by loading the preset once again. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a while since I made one, because a lot of the more recent videos I pre-recorded in 2023, as the start of 2024 has been pretty busy. So I decided to make a bit of a smaller video to get started back into it. Later this month I have another skilling related video coming up, related to agility, and after that you can expect some more bigger projects coming down the line again. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Shout out once again to the Twitch subscribers and the YouTube members. You're legends as always. And I will see you in a week or two for my next video.